everyone, welcome back to the Spirit Bowl with Kara.
Alma.
Yes, so glad to have you guys here as always. I hope you've been enjoying the previous videos and just getting yourself something really light to lift your day. And we aim to do the same thing for you today. In fact, today's subject we are actually going to be talking about the present moment.
And what a gift the present moment is, right?
It really is though. I guess the reason why it's so important to discuss the present moment is because, you know, we live in a day and an age where everyone wants to plan everything, where everyone wants to set a goal, where everyone has an ideal life that they want to reach and achieve, right? But
For
so
sure.
often we let ourselves down when we don't reach what we had ideally wanted to do in the time that we wanted to do it, you know?
Yep. And I consider those setting expectations for the self. It's good to have goals, but when you wrap your goals so tightly that if you don't achieve them, you start to feel bad about yourself and the journey you've had, that's when your goals have become expectations and they start to take on a negative twist.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Like just to kind of start off right here, kind of talking about our own present moment that we're living, like today, I'm going to be meeting with some friends. And so I have things are ready, so it feels good. It's a sunny day, and just getting a lot of stuff done. And I'm just really relishing in that accomplishment of being able to catch up on some of the stuff that, like, I didn't get to do before, you know?
Oh, yes, for sure. I know how busy you've been, so I can
Mhm.
definitely understand how getting to catch up on all that stuff would be nice. So
Yeah,
that would make for a
definitely.
good present moment.
Oh, it does. It does. It makes a really good present moment because, just being off finally in between all the Christmas chaos alone is just a blessing enough. So I'm taking that this moment is offering and I'm just really riding with it, you know?
Oh, yes, I can totally understand. I'd be doing the same thing, which,
Yeah.
in my own way, I kind of am because I'm riding the joy of the holiday season, right?
Mhm.
Because right now, in my life, while I don't go out in the world a lot, my world is made up of little people that cherish and treasure Christmas very much. And so, even if I'm not always feeling up to it, it's still my responsibility to be in the moment and engaged with it in a cheerful way because the kids are looking for a holiday spirit, right?
Yeah.
And so you got to be there for them in that way. And that's what my present moment is full of right now, which is holiday spirit. We've recently set up our Christmas tree. We did gingerbread
Mm.
houses. We're doing a holiday advent calendar where we're trying a different tea every single night, and we're just family stuff, being
Yeah.
together, doing things with each other, which
Yeah.
is what the season is really all about. And that's where my present moment is causing me to soar.
Yeah.
But as we talk about how our present moment is, it comes to mind to people that might not be so joyful in their present moment. Even with the holidays around, they might not find it so particularly happy making, which
Mm.
that's okay too. Your
Mhm.
present moment doesn't have to be perfect details.
No?
It ha- it's perfectly fine to be exactly what it is.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, because each person's present moment is just, it's going to be made of different things. And even though they seem small or they may seem negative, it all adds up to something. It's like, take, for example, getting ready for the Christmas for your children, right? You took each present moment and, like, buying the gifts, taking the moment to wrap them, taking the moment to share the gingerbread house, and like all that little stuff, it really adds up. And using your present moment to help another's moment as well, that's really good, you know?
Yes, that touches on, giving to others to make yourself feel better, which is something I believe in
Mhm.
wholeheartedly. Like that's part of what makes my present moment so great is that
Hmm.
I know I can spend all my time focusing on others, and in return, I don't ever feel empty or deprived or unfulfilled.
Oh,
In return, instead, I feel happy and joyous and appreciated
yeah.
because I'm focusing all my time giving to others, which is such a wholesome thing to do. It feels abundantly good.
Yeah. You're taking the time to enjoy what you have been giving rather than thinking, oh, what could I have done for myself? Oh, what could have I done better? Because when we retract to the past, like say for example, reminiscing on our mistakes, right? We're going to the past and we keep thinking, oh, I did this wrong and I did this person so bad and I said the wrong thing and I didn't finish this and I didn't finish that. Well, while you were so busy thinking about the regrets of your past, you're missing literally what's right in front of you.
That is so well said. Yes, absolutely. By hanging on to the past, that thing that's no more, it's gone, done, and it happened,
Hmm.
and it's not likely to happen again, right?
You can't
History
change it.
you can't. You can't. So all you can do is change how you react to what happened. And
Hmm.
so this is where when you let go of the past, you reconcile what happened with what you need to learn from it so you can grow into a new person to be present in the moment the best you possibly can be.
Right. It's like, for example, me taking right now, while I have a little bit of time, while I have a day to myself, and, you know, you may notice that there's been some weeks when it got closer to this holiday season where maybe we didn't necessarily have a video out. Well, that's because our schedules in that time, it just didn't pan out. So what do? You don't think, oh, well, I really should have recorded something on this day so I'd been ready. No, no, no. You think about what can you do right now? And that's the reason why we are here right now doing this, is we are taking advantage and making the most of this day that we have now.
That's exactly it. You take advantage of the opportunities that are before you, which brings us to the future, not
Mm,
n- holding on to something that hasn't happened yet,
yeah.
not waiting for something that needs to happen in order for you to find a future sense of happiness. No, your happiness needs to be grounded in the right here and now, the present moment.
Hmm.
That's where the happiness starts. If if all you're doing is fearing and doubting what the future might hold, once again, you're stepping away from the present moment and
Yeah.
getting lost in something that hasn't happened yet.
Yeah. I mean, your friends and family aren't going to be looking at you thinking, oh, what are they going to be doing a week from now? They're looking at what you're doing now. They're listening to what you're saying to them right now. It all leads up.
It really does. We are present moment creatures. We live in the moment. And yet, so much of our culture conditions us to think about the past and carry it with us like
Mhm.
something that we're never supposed to forget. And then holding on to the future
Yeah.
like it's something that we can predict. If we just get some kind of plan laid out right, then we can be sure that it'll work out just the way we hope it will.
Yeah.
And it's just it's so burdensome to have to think with that kind of mental state because the past is just so much time and so much energy to keep up with. And
Mhm.
then to add the fear and doubt of the future, you just become overwhelmed before you even get into the moment itself.
Yeah, I like to use a reference of crossing bridges, right? You're going on a road and there's several bridges to go over. Like, if you're right now, you're only crossing one. Why are you worried about the one that's you're not even there? You're not even at it. Like, you don't know what it's going to look like or how high it's going to be or you don't know what it's going to be. So why are you so worried about it?
Right, right,
You're going to fall off the
absolutely.
one that you're on now if you're not thinking about what you're doing now.
Oh, that's such a valid point. If you've got your eyes set on something other than the present moment, how are you focusing on what you need to be doing right now? How are you focusing on the tiny details of this now moment and doing everything you can to make this moment better? If
Hmm.
every moment has you saying, well, next moment I'm going to do it differently, then when does the change ever come? Right?
Yeah. And that may be where people start to really worry the most about, say, for example, our futures or the planet's future. Me personally, after my whole journey, I'm not really worried. Like, I mean, yes, we can take the time to be like, okay, I want to be more green towards the earth, and I want to start saving more money, and I want to this and that. But I don't really think in those terms. Like, yes, you can plan for it, but it's not necessarily going to happen that way. So I don't really worry about what the future holds. As long as we're taking this moment now to do everything that we can for the better, that is a contribution towards what we're trying to achieve. Whether we achieve it fully or not, it is still a contribution.
I agree, absolutely. By focusing heartily on the now moment, you can better influence how the future moments will be. If you
Yeah.
put positive energy into the now moment, then the future moments are going to be
Um,
sown with positive energy.
it is.
If the and the reverse holds true. If all your now moments are sown with negative energy, negative thought spirals, negative projections of what could be wrong, right? That
Right.
means all your future moments are going to be filled with that same fear and doubt and
Mhm.
negativity.
Right. And it's also a big contributor to anxiety too. Uh because, I've had my bouts with anxiety. Of course, it doesn't necessarily go completely away. There's sometimes when it just inches back a little bit, but having learned how to control it, what I learned is that one of the things that causes it is when we are so worried about what could possibly happen or what the response is gonna be something, and that worry starts to trigger. Well, if we stop worrying about that, we can actually see that things aren't that bad. So when you're so worried about all this, it's actually an anxiety trigger too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. If you're worrying, I mean, that is what anxiety is. It's worry,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're busy worrying, you're putting anxious energy into your moments, which
Mm-hmm.
again then goes out in front of you into your future moments and
Yeah.
fills them with things that are going to make you anxious.
Yeah. Like I would look at a checkout line. Let's say if I had four people in my checkout line, right? Because I'm sensitive to energies around me as well. So it can be overwhelming if I have a lot of people standing around. And what I had to learn was that instead of looking at that line, oh my gosh, I've got to get through four people. Okay. If I can do this really quickly and like plotting and planning and stuff, right? That's
Mhm.
what was one of the things that was keeping me in that mode because I was constantly concerned about how I was going to handle something. Whereas when I was finally taught to just pay attention to the customer that was in front of me, just realize that, okay, right now, what am I doing? I'm serving this customer. Okay, what is this customer needing right now? It simplified a lot of the thoughts and stuff that caused that downward spiral. And by simplifying it, it removed those burdens off of the mind. It quieted the mind from all that stuff that really was a trigger to that. You know?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I could totally understand how that would work because you learned you learned how your mind spiraled, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you learned to pay attention to the triggers and how your brain functioned when it was spiraling. And then you learned to quiet that in response. I mean, what a gift to have found,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, definitely. It was so life changing in handling that. Now, of course, sometimes, yeah, sometimes all the energies around can still be overwhelming, but I have a lot less moments when I'm just like, oh, I want to hide behind the counter and not show, a lot
Oh,
less of
yeah,
that. And it's a
that's
lot
good,
more management of it rather than all the worrying and concerning and yeah.
right? Well, because by not letting that worry, that anxiety about what's ahead of you take
Mhm.
over, it brought you centered and grounded into the now moment,
Yeah.
which allowed you to just focus and be your best self as you need to be right now, not worrying about all those infinite possibilities that exist
Mm.
outside of the now moment,
That are
right?
probably not going to happen.
Right? Because there's an infinite amount of them, and we're only living them one at a time, and so
Yeah.
it seems, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just because we could be so worried about, okay, this might happen and this might, and how I'm going to handle it if this happens, if this happens. And they're not all going to happen, okay? What's going to happen depends on what you do right now, okay? So the past may have defined where you are now, right? But what you do now with that knowledge is going to define your future.
Mhm. Absolutely. That is an absolutely great way of saying it.
Yeah, it was just a really important lesson in dealing with all the anxieties, the concerns, and the regrets. When you focus on now, right now, where you are, who you're with, what you're doing, and your state of mind, you're taking away all the regret. You're taking away all the concerns and the anxieties, and you're taking away like, and this is going to sound kind of weird here, but you're taking away expectation, okay? Because when you expect something to go a certain way and then it doesn't, that can start to launch more regrets and more triggers.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So by learning to let go of those expectations, it leads you into a more open nature to receive what really does happen, right? When you
Mm-hmm.
set your mind on one outcome, it's really closing your mind off from all the other possibilities that could manifest, which then becomes the expectation of what you think is supposed to happen. And then when against the odds, like it should, it doesn't happen, then you're left to disappointment and negativity and all those triggers that come up when
Yeah.
something doesn't go the way you wanted it to.
Right. Like right now, you as a viewer, let's say you might be in the middle of a work shift or you might be in the middle of a family event and you're here watching this video with us. Well, yes, you could be thinking, oh, I really need to get back to work. I really need to do this. But what you're doing right now, you're receiving this message, right? Which means
Mhm.
it's important for something. So why not, instead of regretting spending time getting your work done, spend this time that's happening right now to soak in what you need to, the message that you're getting, or to be able to realize, all right, it's okay if I'm not attending to this right now?
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, speaking in my present moment,
Yeah.
we're going to need to end somewhat quickly
Okay.
because I my daughter needs to get ready to go and she has to catch a bus.
Yeah.
So I just need to kind of
Yeah, definitely. That's fine. Well, I mean, I'm just glad that we were still able to get together and go ahead and get this out to you guys and share the word. But I hope that you're able to take from this and you're able to uh, bring it into your life where you can manage yourself with a little less worry, a little less anxiety, and a little more ease as you go moment to moment.
Yes, absolutely. By getting in that present moment, it's a lot more comfortable to pass through time with. So if you can let go of that past, release yourself from the fear of the future, and just float comfortably in the present moment, you'll find it to be the gift that it is.
Yeah, absolutely. You'll be able to see everything for what it is and take the best advantage of it.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. So until next time, we hope that you're able to get something really positive and you're able to use that positive to help yourself. So until we see, talk to you again, you have a lovely day.
Bye.